What are we doing, Pads?
We're getting ready to go sailing.
After the slight chaos that was the last time we went sailing.
It wasn't that bad.
We bumped into quite a few things and I crashed a drone in the water. I've now been barred from using the drone and we're gonna go sailing and try and anchor overnight.
Yeah, it's a bit funky today. Well, this weekend we've had this like northeasterly wind for all week now, so it's kind of 3 to 4 gusting 5 to 6 northeasterly, which means that like all the normal anchorages aren't really tenable, like there aren't that many anyway. Because it's been so settled, I think we can actually probably just go anchor on the beach up in Wales where we'd normally go surfing, because it's, you know, there's no swell and the wind's offshore, so fingers crossed that's where we'll be able to go.
Yeah, it's going to be about 7 hours to get down there, so we're leaving early doors in the morning and then we should hopefully have all afternoon just chilling on the anchor.
The thing we've got to do this evening is we don't have the reefing lines rigged, so we're going to go put up the main and re-rig the reefing lines, because I mean, I'm pretty sure we're going to have a reef in
if not
coming
two.
back. I think it's better to have all three of them.
Yeah,
rigged, just
I definitely wouldn't recommend Bristol Channel sailing for people that haven't sailed before, because it's quite spicy, isn't it?
Can be.
We're Paddy and Esme, and last year we decided to do something a bit crazy. We sold everything we owned, including our flat, and now this is our home, a 40-foot sailing boat called Moonlighting. It's been a long winter of refitting, and we have a lot of work left to do before we set sail on the adventure of our lives. Come along for the highs and lows as we learn more about sailing, ourselves, and our boat, all whilst exploring the world. This is Sailing Selkie. Welcome aboard.
So I'm taking the main up.
You are, but firstly you need to make sure all 3 reefing lines are running cleanly.
Okay.
So you have to do this every time you reef and stuff. So
It's hard when it's gusting.
excellent. So once you got the kind of principle in your head of what they all do, it's quite straightforward. So then the last thing is just tidying up. You take this end around it. One of the other little jobs I've got to do is, before we head out on anchor, I want to mark the anchor chain. So I'm going to use these coloured cable ties. So I've got two colours. So I'll probably mark it at like 2 metre intervals with the blue, and then maybe red every 10. Just makes it easier to know. So I don't actually think there's any marks on that chain at all. So I've got to get it all out on deck and have a look. So I've only marked the first 30 metres of chain just because it's getting quite late and I need to do the passage planning, and also the windlass is quite noisy and I don't want to bother people when it gets on a bit. I think we've actually got like 60 or maybe even 100 metres of chain on board, so I will get the rest out at some point, but I think I'm probably likely to need a good bunch more than 30. At least that first bit's marked, I suppose. Picked up our new life raft. So we got it second hand from a chap on eBay who buys them and services them and sells them on. So it was about 700 quid, but compared to £2,000 plus new, and it's come with a new certificate. And he's a sailor as well, like, you know, I love chatting about boats, so I trust that it's not full of bricks.
Let's hope so. How heavy is it?
Just under 40k.
Oh god. Why have I got to be able to lift it?
Have you got to be able to throw it forward? I wanted to test that Ez could lift the life raft in case she'd ever have to throw it over. So she's just kind of doing some Samoan deadlifts or something with it on the dock. Go on, girl.
I'm going to throw my back out.
Yeah, don't do that. You got it? Well done. Cool. Now you know that with a load of adrenaline, you'll definitely be able to chuck it overboard.
the right size.
I think you're right. It's about right, isn't it?
Perfect.
Cool, I'm going to take it off.
That looks
tighten it
sick.
all up.
It's a really good place for it.
It is a good place, isn't it? Because then all you have to do is just pick it up and launch it over there.
Yeah.
So often you have it.
Sounds really easy when you say it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think with adrenaline,
I'm very pleased with that.
that'll go over.
Right, hopefully that's going to live there for the rest of its life and the rest of our lives.
Yeah.
Please stay.
Other than when it gets serviced.
Yes. Oh. So it's currently 5:30. We're up, ready for adventure. Esme's making coffee and breakfast. I've just got the charts out just for backup, and I've got a radio into the lock to get them to fill the lock up for us. So we're hoping to get out at 6:30. So I've just set everything up. I really only have this out as a backup, and I've only got one waypoint plotted for this journey because that's the only mildly straight line that we're going to be sailing today. And then once we're past here, this is Cardiff, we're basically hugging this coastline and going point to point. So I've just got that on there, and I've put this waypoint in to our good old GPS, so this will give us a bearing to waypoint on the repeater on deck, so that's the main reason why I do that. The AIS is on here, but then we actually do most of our navigation on Navionics on a tablet, so you can see that's our course. Whoop, up there today. Portishead Marina, this is yacht moonlighting, over.
Moonlighting, Portishead, go ahead.
We're preparing to set off now, hoping to be down in the lock around 6:30. Does that work for you? Over.
6:30 lock is over.
Fantastic, thanks very much. Out. So we got to set the lines to slit.
Yeah.
Just have them. Well, we'll work out how the boat sits when. Cause I don't want to kick the back end out too much, like I was saying today. So let's we'll set them up and see how it's sitting. Remember the plan. I'll reverse that into there. If you could
I just need to tell you when the nose comes past in.
Yeah, you can give me like distances like between the nose and the pontoon until they pass.
Have you raided the lock?
They're expecting us, yeah.
Okay.
I just need distances on the bow, please. I was relieved to have left our berth without any major incidents. With the sun on our faces, we motored down the marina and slipped out through the lock. We were hugely excited for what felt like the first proper outing of the season and a chance to spend some time together away from work and boat projects. We made it out of the marina!
Hey!
It was much more straightforward than last time, which is great.
Yeah, I can already feel both of us building our confidence. Moonlighting knows what she needs to do. We're just not very good at telling her what she needs to do.
I think we're going to get better. We're getting better.
Oh, downwind sailing for 7 hours is going to be amazing in this sun.
Glorious. It's so weird having our whole home move around.
It's also so weird that like all our stuff's with us right now.
I know, our calendar's just swinging on the wall. Bizarre. Pretty cool. I think she's alright.
Yeah, she's fine now.
It's warmed up.
We've stopped rolling around. I think that was what it was. She was cold and it was rolling. Now she just wants to play with the rope.
Got her sea legs. Now she's biting my Genoa sheet. I don't actually know what this is. It looks like some sort of vintage work boat of some sort. Those big funnels.
They sails. They're like masts.
It's got masts, but they're not. Oh, it's anchored.
Is it?
Yeah.
You think it's the old steam ferry that used to run from Clevedon, which is there, all the way across to Wales.
They used to have like ferry routes around here as like leisure cruising and up to Bristol.
Wow.
They will definitely be on that.
We'll have research and let you guys know.
A few moments later.
So I've done some research. Apparently it's called Waverley, and it's the last seagoing paddle steamer in the wild. She was built in 1946 and she sailed from the Firth of Clyde to Loch Long until 1973. And then she was bought by the Paddle Steamer Preservation Society, PSPS for short, and she has been restored to her 1947 appearance and now operates passenger excursions around the British coastline. Paddy is just rigging a gyre preventer as the sea state's got a bit confused and we're going quite downwind, so we just don't want to suddenly end up with the boom swinging over us, which is super dangerous. So yeah, we're just doing that for now, but it's lovely sailing so far.
Wind definitely feels a bit lighter now, so I'm wondering whether we currently just got full main up. Like classic downwind sailing for like the trade winds and stuff is just a poled out head sail,
Okay.
which I've never done before.
I think we're going to try and... Do you want to try and pull out the Genoa? Or do you want to give it a bit?
I think we should do it, but let's
Yeah.
leave the main up for now. We'll just pull it in tight so it's not shielding the main, and we'll get that flying and then we'll drop the main.
Drop the main once the spinnaker's pulled out.
Yeah. There must be an easy way of doing this. Okay. Now see that on. Oh, like a bit of activity to get you going. So whilst it was a bit of a faff, me working out how to use the spinnaker pole for the first time, the clutches are all really seized on it, so that's why I was struggling, and it's heavy, and there's definitely a better way of doing it than that. But it's working, and we're now going back up to nearly 7 knots.
So we've literally just made it to the anchorage. You can't normally anchor here. It's just because of the weird winds and weather we're getting at the moment that we've been able to. So it's actually normally really good for surfing here, but it's super flat and it's a bit windy, but the anchor seems to be holding and Paddy seems quite happy. I'm just gonna make her some late lunch and we'll sit out on deck, lie in the sun, and then motor to shore in a bit in the dinghy to take the dog for a walk.
Oh, thank you so much. It's quite a pretty spot, this. Beautiful big beach behind us. It's a bit blowy. I was hoping we'd have a bit more protection from the dunes on the beach there, but because it's offshore, it's pretty flat, like we're hardly moving around at all. I think if I'm honest, I was quite stressed for that sail. Like, it's just a lot, you know, new cruising area, so it's unfamiliar, new boat, haven't been out for a while, so it just feels like a lot to think about. I can feel my stress levels a bit higher than they normally would be, so like I need to bed into it a bit.
Yeah.
You know, we're going to be going lots of new places, so I've got to be confident that we know what we're doing and that we can go and do. Like, we can look at the charts, we can read the forecast, we can get it, and we can do all the preparation and be fairly confident that we will get it right and we will be able to react if it goes wrong. But it's just building that back up again, isn't it?
I'm gonna coin this season Selkie shakedown season.
Yeah, building up our confidence, building up our knowledge of the boat,
Yeah.
and getting ready for some big old touring.
Yeah.
Welcome to Soggy Shakedown season.